Hey YouTube, it's your girl Chic from Chic Say What. I am coming on today. I want to get into it. I want to talk about our girl, Miss Chloe Bailey. So I'm gonna give it a little bit, see if some people are able to jump on live before I get into it, because it's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to talk about. Chloe's been on the scene for a minute now, but Chloe Bailey, the solo artist, Chloe Bailey. Now that's new. So Chloe Halle vibes and Chloe Bailey vibes, for me, they're different. So I want to talk about it. I want to hear, I'd like to know, what you all, anyone who catches this live stream or the playback, I want to hear how you feel about, this Chloe Bailey that's been presented to the world today. Like, is she the protege of Miss Beyonce, Knowles Carter? Do you just put her in her own little category and not link her to Beyonce? Do you feel like, yes, she's a whole new Beyonce vibe? Or are you like, nah, sis is in her own lane? I rock with B, but Chloe is, Chloe. So I want to talk about it. It's interesting because, and I'll share some of the things that I researched pertaining to Beyonce's parents, as far as their, I guess more so Beyonce's father's opinion about Chloe and the comparison to his daughter, his firstborn, Beyonce. Tina, I found some information about Tina. I don't know if Tina outright came out making a comment post Beyonce's father making his comments about how he feels about Chloe in comparison to his daughter, but we're going to get into it. So yes, if you are here at this time, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live, because anyone who's been here before, no, you just don't know when sis is just gonna pop up. So the way my life is set up, that's how it be out here in the streets. So hit that notification bell so when I do come on the scene, you're in the house. So let's get started. Chloe Bailey. I think Chloe Bailey is a beautiful girl. I think Halle, her sister, is as well. They're about like 2 years apart, from Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I currently reside. And she's definitely an entire vibe right now. Her name, I was up, and I rarely kind of jump on people lives on Instagram. And the other night, I guess that was Thursday night, I didn't know that she had already, I guess, pre-scheduled the drop of her video. What's her video name? I didn't had a brain freeze already. Have Mercy. I'm sorry. I didn't know like that. Listen, because she's not really, one that I kind of follow like that, because she's kind of this new thing on the scene. I've been hearing her name a lot, but so hey, Deluxe Coco, have mercy. Thank you, girl. Listen, I've been doing this research. I'm like, what is the name? I appreciate you. Put you on the screen. Thank you. So what I was saying is, like, I didn't know that she had this song that was about to drop. So I just was up like I normally am, late at night, and her Instagram live came up. Let me know if you, Deluxe Coco, if you caught that, or if, I don't know if you follow her on Instagram. But she was just really giddy. She had this cute little pink pajama set on. I think people, in the comments was saying it was giving TLC creep vibes. So she started singing that, but she looked really cute. She was glowing. She said she had just wrapped up the film, like the video. And she was just excited that it was just about to drop. Like, she was just really giddy, like a young girl. I think she's, let me see, Chloe's 23, Haley's 21. Chloe just had a birthday, so she's a Cancer, like one of my children. So she's She's July 1st. Her birthday just passed. I saw a little at the beginning. Yeah, me too. Me too. Deluxe Coco. I guess I probably watched maybe like the first 5 minutes of it, and then I kind of jumped off. Listen, I'm old enough to be that little girl mama. So I just kind of was like, oh, that's cute. And then I kind of dropped off. So I think her sister, I later seen some clips where her sister Haley ended up joining. So yeah, so I mean, that was a little cute thing, but I did catch that in that live. I don't know if you caught that part in the beginning, Deluxe Coco, when she said she had sprained her back. That's funny. She said she sprained her back during the music video, and people were like, what? She was like, yeah, I can't go into details of it, but y'all just check out the video. So when I watched the video, so I was still up after midnight, and I ended up just surfing. I saw, Chloe's video dropped 32 minutes ago. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So like it's, video dropped at midnight. And then I watched the video and I saw this scene look like she was outside. And it was dark and she had the braids and she was kind of popping really hard. And so I was like, I bet, and I put in the comments of the video, I'm like, I bet you that's the part where sis threw her back out, because she just said that she hurt herself doing the video. So to be honest, I had to watch it twice, because I'm not gonna lie. The first play of the video, when I watched it, it was like literally my mouth was open and I wasn't even taking in like the lyrics. It was more of the visionary for me, the vision work. Deluxe Coco said, yeah, she was going in on the video. Like, I'm like, okay, that got to be the part where she kind of did it, because she was just really going hard. But the times I've, seen her, especially with that Nina Simone rendition, when she did that video, she danced really hard. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see why she kind of struggled a little bit, from following that video. But like I said, the first time when I watched the video, I don't know. She looked beautiful in the video, but I was just taken aback by the imagery of it all. Something about it, it just didn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy, I'll say. And I think we all subconsciously put people, let me say this. I think subconsciously we can kind of, I don't know if it's box people, but you have this preset notion of what your expectations are of a person. So I can see a Cardi B video or a Megan Thee Stallion video, because I will say, watching that video first go around, Megan Thee Stallion was just running through my head for some reason. I don't know, but that's just who was kind of getting in my head. And I'm just like, okay, I can watch a Megan Thee Stallion video, Cardi B video, whatever they give me. It's almost like in my mind, it's just like, okay. Because when those two ladies came on the scene, they already came on the scene already out the gate with the image of what we see of them today. It wasn't like a switch up or nothing like that. It's just like, hey, this is what I am. This is what I'm giving. I'm out here busted wide open. So anything they come through with, I'm just like, okay. Whereas with our girl, Chloe Bailey, you guys know she came on the scene with her sister. So there was a whole different, like, more bubblegum type vibe with the two girls together. So that's how we were introduced to them. So then fast forward today with Chloe Bailey being by her scene and wanting us to get to know who she is, her first music video release. I believe it's her first music video. When I click on it, I'm like, because it's not the version of her who was initially presented to me, if that makes sense to me. So I was almost like in shock, like, okay, who is this? Megan, like I said, Megan Thee Stallion just running through my head. It was just giving me Megan Thee Stallion vibes. Like, to be honest, Beyonce wasn't even running through my head. It was Megan Thee Stallion. Deluxe Coco said, I didn't realize that it was Medusa theme until people were talking about it. Right. Me neither. Like, I was just, like I said, Megan Thee Stallion was just running through my head. Just, I guess because of, you know, maybe, you know, her body shape, she's a thick girl. She's not as tall as Megan, but she's curvy. She's a curvy girl. So Megan Thee Stallion was just running through my head like, wow, like, okay. And sis is just popping in. It's just like, and it was just a part of me. It was like my inner spirit saying, no, you know, it's just like, it's not what I wanted the energy to give coming from Chloe. I feel like we have so many women out there giving off that sex imagery, you know, that sex sale, that whole vibe, you know, pop locking it, busted wide open. You know what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like we have a lot of artists that fall into that category. So Chloe Bailey, I definitely felt like with her art ability, her talent, she can not have to go down that path. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever hear people say, oh, people who maybe talent isn't maybe as wide, you know, maybe try to go down that path versus somebody who really got something to work with, don't really have to do all of that. Like, that's how I put Chloe. And, you know, I consider Chloe as somebody who got so much talent to where her talent can supersede just like her twerking it out, you know, giving a thought vibe, like, because that's what I picked up. Like, I hate to say it, but it is my honest opinion. It just gave me just thought vibes throughout the video. And I didn't like that. Deluxe Coco say it's hard to transition from Disney pop to sexy. Yes, it's just like, and if you ever hear about it, you ever hear like a lot of times when people do that, they find themselves having to explain themselves a lot, feeling like they have to, you know, be on this campaign to explain themselves to people because people, they get used to seeing you. Like, my thing is like the way you come out the box, the way you come out the gate, that's kind of what people start to expect from you. And people don't collectively just take to change like that. It's just like, whoa, okay, wait a minute. And so it's like she had been kind of teasing, giving us some things here and there about, you know, showing her sensual side. And remember, she had that whole situation where she was crying. Deluxe Coco said, I am sorry, Chic, but I have to go. I will definitely catch the repost. Okay, bye, girl. Thanks for checking in. If you guys remember when she first, I'm thinking it was after she did that Busted challenge where, you know, people were talking like, wow, I don't know if like that was her first time really kind of showing us who she was. But I will say it was my first time seeing Chloe Bailey in that form, I guess, aside from, you know, the whole Chloe and Halle duo. But she did the challenge, you know. Okay, people were talking about it like, wow. And then next thing you know, shortly after that, I seen something online where like she was crying about how the comments that people were saying about her. So I'm gonna share my screen because I found an ET article about that. And I just want to remind some of you, just in case, you know, if you forgot or just don't remember that. So this was on etonline.com. Says Chloe Bailey cries on Instagram Live while opening up about self-love and finding her confidence. So Chloe Bailey broke down in tears on Sunday on Instagram Live while discussing learning how to love herself and dealing with recent negative comments on social media. In January, the 22-year-old singer got an Instagram account apart from her sister and singing partner, Halle Bailey, and has been getting plenty of attention thanks to her dancing videos. But on Sunday, she addressed the criticism she received from some who deemed her videos too sexy. Again, I guess I'm going back to how people can already, like, they have an opinion of you from when you're first introduced to them. So then when you suddenly hit them with something differently, kind of like out of left field, this was like, okay, hold on. So I think the world went into shock when, she did that video. So I'll continue on with this article. It says, she quotes, "It's really hard for me to think of myself as a sexual being or an attractive being, quite frankly," she said, after discussing dealing with body issues in the past, such as thinking she was fat. So when I see all the uproar about my posts and stuff, I'm a bit confused. Like, I really don't understand, because I've seen myself in that way or in that light. I don't post what I post to get attention. I don't need that. Bailey said that she gets her confidence when she dances and performs. She addressed her happy video, excuse me, over the weekend of her dancing in her underwear. She quotes, "For every woman out there, don't change who you are to make society feel comfortable," she said. "And I'm telling myself that's not what I'm going to do." Even when I posted the video yesterday, I posted it because I was saging and doing Palo Santo, and I was like, let's spread positive vibes. She also quotes, "I didn't even really notice you guys were talking about my," as she was saying, ass, because I was like, okay, I'm just walking in from 1 second, I guess, for 1 second, 2 seconds, she continued. "And I feel like I've shown my ass more than I have with that. Like, if you look at our performance videos, the last performance we had in December." Bailey cried while talking about the journey she's been on when it comes to self-confidence, acknowledging that she felt insecure for a long time. She quotes, "With my songwriting producing, I feel so badass, and I get the same feeling when I dance in my room, when I just own who I am in my body." She said, "And for so long, I used to think I was like fat, and like I used to hate my stretch marks, my cellulite. But it's like now I really love who I am." So that's a big jump to go from there to where we are today. I guess with her, how she feels about herself. I'm all for, self-love and things like that. I think we all should love who we are and not feel any certain type of way because of somebody's opinion about us. But I would really be curious to know, what that journey looked like to get her from that moment when she was crying to today releasing the Have Mercy video. Like, do y'all think she got a pep talk from somebody like, sis, like, this is what comes with the territory? Like, as we all hear, sex sells. So do you think that perhaps like somebody had to sit down with her, whether it was Beyonce, her team, whoever, to be like, listen, like, if you trying to make it out here in these streets, if you want to be quote unquote the next Beyonce, these are the things, this is the path that you'll need to go. Like, I truly believe that there was a conversation that was had like that said, okay, to have this type of success, these are the things that you will need to do. Because just within our Black community, can you all think of an artist that's super big that has gotten there without selling sex, without dropping it, popping it, twerking it out? Like, can you think of anybody? Because right now I can't. There are some artists to where I feel like their visuals maybe don't give as much as, say, we got out of Chloe's video, Have Mercy. However, you do see that, the whole, sexual imagery, like, you do see all that. It's just that maybe the amount of skin you're not seeing as much skin. Maybe it's a little more subtle, or their backside is covered more. Like I'm thinking about Normani right now. Like I feel like Normani's imagery, you know, sex. However, when I just think of some of the videos that I have seen of hers, excuse me, I don't recall seeing as much of Normani's backside as I've seen with Chloe's. Like maybe there was more coverage versus Chloe showing like both cheeks, you know. So correct me if I'm wrong, drop it in the comments. So I think, you know, with today's music and for a long time, it's that balance of, okay, I'm gonna be sexual, sensual, but I'm gonna have limitations on how much I'm going to show, how much I'm going to give. And like I said, for sis to go from crying about how people perceived her to fast forward today, this week, dropping the video where it's just almost like, okay, I give two fucks about, you know, what people think. That's a big jump. And there had to have been something that took place between then and now for her to get there. So we're going to talk about it. I even want to talk about it is to say, do you think that it can come to just like you hear about these artists who have these alter egos where they say they, excuse me, become a whole nother person when they perform or when they're on stage? Like you said, Beyonce, she says she's Sasha Fierce. She's like a whole nother person. She says, you know, she's normally shy, but when she performs, she's Sasha Fierce, who's like not shy. So I'm wondering if this is what we're seeing with Chloe. I'm going to share something else. She did an interview recently, and she talks about just the having a different side, you know, a different side of her that she shows. I think it was the interview she recently did with MTV, and she talked about how in the music video, we're seeing like a part of her, like that she has within her, but though the version of what we see when she's not performing or say when she's sitting during the interview, it's kind of, okay, you know, this is Chloe, you know, it's like she's kind of separating herself into like two different people. So it's like, okay, where did that come from? You know, where did that ideology come from to, you know, to be a separate being, to get through what it is that you're trying to get through your job, to get through the tasks that you're asked to complete? Do you all think that could have come from having a pep talk with Beyonce? She is underneath, you know, her label is at Parkview. Is that the label? I want to share my screen some more and, you know, just talk about some things, you know, that she's had to say, you know, about herself, you know, pertaining to like her confidence. And I get the feeling that right now this is all still so new to her, to where she's still struggling to find her footing into the industry. Almost like, you know, where there's that inner struggle of, okay, this is what they say you need to do to be successful, but over here, this is really who I am. And just trying to merge them to kind of create that space that she can kind of still comfortably live with while still climbing that ladder. And the question is that even possible? Like a lot of times we talk about like being in the industry and compromising ourselves, doing things that we weren't doing before, but we want to climb, you know, we want that success. So we're willing to do what we got to do, you know, to get that level of success. But before we get further, I want to show you, I found something on Chloe Bailey. Let's talk about who is Chloe Bailey. So let's let's go there. I'm going to share an article I found so you can see. Let's see who Chloe Bailey is. Get to know who Chloe Bailey is and bump that up against, who we're seeing today. So her name's Chloe Bailey. She's from Atlanta, Georgia, born July 1st, 98. So she's 23 years old right now. She's Black American. It says Chloe was born on the 1st of July, 98. She's best known for being an R&B singer. She played a major role in Meet the Browns, which was based on a play written by Tyler Perry. I didn't know that. Chloe Bailey's age is 23, actress and singer known for being a part of R&B duo Chloe and Halle with her sister Haley. They signed with Beyonce's Parkwood Entertainment and supported the singer on the Formation World Tour. I remember seeing them in like the video or whatever when Beyonce released for her one of her albums, and she had the kind of like the little short movie thing or the videos. I remember seeing the sisters in that. So the 23-year-old R&B singer was born in Atlanta, Georgia. She appeared in the 2003 film The Fighting Temptations. I don't remember that either. She and her sister got their start singing on YouTube. I want to say that's how I first came to see the girls on YouTube. She played Tasha Rhodes in 2008 romantic comedy Meet the Browns and appeared in Gospel Here and Heal in 2008. Okay. Childhood. Chloe was born in the 90s. The 90s is often remembered as a decade of peace, prosperity, and the rise of the internet, World Wide Web. In 92, the first text message was sent. DVDs were sent. Let's see. Chloe is part of the millennial generation, also known as Generation Y. So she definitely came from, with humble beginnings. But, as we see Chloe as the grown woman, she's given different vibes. And, we grow. So, I mean, it's nothing wrong with, she's a grown woman now. However, when we do grow, we do have the choice on what type of version of ourselves or how we want to carry ourselves or how we want to present ourselves to the world. So that is a personal choice that we all have and she has. And it comes down to once, with Chloe transitioning into Have Mercy Chloe, who we see in this video, is there any going back from that? If any of you guys ever heard of the terminology of a typecast, where you become put in a boxed in on, okay, once you kind of start doing certain types of, say, music or presenting yourself a certain type of way, it's almost like, okay, once Chloe completed the Have Mercy video, like, can she suddenly now hop into doing something that's geared towards kids or like Disney or anything? Like, it's probably safe to say those days are gone. But I also, in my research, I came across like this interview that Matthew Knowles had did. And, the person who was interviewing him asked him about, his thoughts on Chloe and if he saw any comparisons to his daughter, Beyonce. And so let me share my screen on that. But that I found that to be quite interesting. So this is on the HollywoodLife.com. The article titled Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles, gushes over Chloe Bailey 1 week after singer's dad shades her. So this article was dated March 18, 2021. So it reads, while Matthew Knowles, 69, appeared to be offended by a recent comparison of his superstar daughter Beyonce to Chloe Bailey of the singing duo Chloe Halle, Tina Knowles was here for it. Beyonce's mom, 67, shared a super sweet throwback photo of the Destiny Child singer and a young Chloe when they worked together on Fighting Temptations, as well as a movie clip on Thursday, March 18th. Years later, the 22-year-old singer and her sister signed to Beyonce Park Entertainment label and even toured with Queen Bee and Jay-Z for 2018 On the Run tour. The On the Run tour. It's the On the Run 2 tour. Okay. So I'm wondering if that's 18, 19, 21, because I saw the On the Run tour. And I'm wondering if that was the one. It was some years back, but when I saw them, Chloe and Bailey, I saw them in New Orleans. So I don't know if maybe that was the On the Run 1 tour. But yeah, they weren't with them. So maybe that was a different one. But I did see Beyonce and Jay-Z's On the Run tour. So it reads, how cute and prophetic is that Chloe played Beyonce's character as a child in the movie Fighting Temptations? Who would have ever thought that one day Chloe would be signed to Beyonce's label? Y'all, you guys remember, I don't even remember Chloe being in half of these movies. Like, I guess when you're seeing people, and this is before they you knew them or they had a name, you're just seeing them as just extras or actresses or actors in a movie. But I guess I'm gonna have to go back and check out some of these films, because I don't recall ever seeing sis in any movies before. So, I mean, that's very interesting. But it's good for her, that, she's been working, for a minute. So, kudos to her. But listen, I didn't know that she was in these movies. Like I said, I did see her in the Beyonce's video for one of her albums or whatever, her and the sister, but not in the movies. What else? Let me see. Beyonce's loves and celebrates the talent of Chloe and Halle 100%. Let me see. Tina's sweet message is a far cry from Matthew's recent take on Chloe being compared to the single ladies singer. Okay. So he's quoted as saying, "You got to be kidding me, right? You're asking me that question. Are you actually serious that you are comparing that young lady to Beyonce?" Matthew replied on Leah A. Henry's podcast, Leah's Lemonade. Matthews in the conversation, Leah noted that fans have often described Chloe as a younger Queen Bee. Leah asked again, the same thing you saw in young Beyonce. Do you see that in Chloe Bailey? Clarifying she meant in the talent category. So he quotes it saying, okay, if you're talking about a movie, not talent-wise, Matthew said. Talent-wise? Are you telling me talent-wise somebody is an idiot enough to compare her to Beyonce talent-wise? Are there people saying her talent is equal to Beyonce? They're ridiculous, period, he said, shutting down the conversation. While the young women have been singing their whole lives, the R&B duo 2020 album Ungodly Hour was their most successful yet. Single Do It became their most popular single to date, as well as their first to chart on Billboard Hot 100. Wow. I mean, when I look at Chloe, I don't see Beyonce or think Beyonce, but me knowing that Beyonce, she's fueled by Beyonce, like, the energy is there. Like the energy when she performs, like, especially when she did that Nina Simone, like rendition, that whole, like, I really did like the performance, the song, like what she did with it. She definitely danced, went really hard in it. I think that was probably like the first time where I maybe seen her and was like, okay, I can see Beyonce vibes here, but given that she's underneath with the label, it doesn't surprise me, So from a talent perspective, Beyonce is Beyonce. She's talented, and Chloe's talented as well. So I think that Chloe can hold her own in a way to not have to really be compared to Beyonce. I think, they're both talented women in their own right. I wouldn't want to see her going through her career constantly being compared to someone and then having that pressure with living up to them. But with the way her solo career is taking off and coming out the box, I don't see how that's not going to be the case. Like, she's already been introduced to us with Beyonce being on the brain, almost like in a programmed type way, where it's the intent for people to see her and to think Beyonce. I personally think it's what's wanted from the label, because Beyonce is so huge. So for something to mimic or imitate Beyonce, I believe it would be looked at as a recipe for success. If somebody looks at something new and fresh and be like, Beyonce, like, it's just creating a whole new generation of success with like a younger version of Beyonce. So I don't think that whole comparison thing or whatever, I don't think that's going to go away, anytime soon. I think that's just going to be, it is what it is. And I think Chloe's just going to spend her career just either trying to live up to that or trying to break away from that. Because I feel like at some point, as Chloe become more and more into herself as a woman, it's going to become more important for her to not feel like she's trying to live up to somebody else's image. Who wants to live that way? Like, we all want to be judged based off of who we are and not who we may remind someone of. Like, who? That's a lot of pressure. And I don't feel like anyone should have to live like that. And I think it's going to eventually get old and it'll impact Chloe's mental health. I think she's going to see something to where, like, say, for example, her sister being able to navigate in these Hollywood streets with just being Haley and not being like compared to anybody. But though she's, Chloe's going to feel like, well, I don't have that same luxury. I feel like anything that I do, anytime I talk to somebody, kind of like, with Destiny's Child, with the individual artists. I remember one time, I think Kelly was talking about her music and something that she released, and the person brought in Beyonce's name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see Chloe ever really in her career being able to really have a sit down interview with somebody to talk about her, who she is, her music, or whatever she's working on, and Beyonce's name not come up. Let me know. Drop it in the comments if you feel differently, if you agree. Let's talk about it, because I feel like that's just something that she's going to have to deal with, given that she's coming out the box already with Beyonce's name attached to her, just by her even being selected with being on the MTV, performing at the MTV Awards. I don't know if that might be tonight. People are, feeling like, okay, well, she got that slot, let's just say, over Normani, because initially, Chloe got invited before Normani. But Beyonce, made a phone call because of Beyonce. So I think for Chloe, that's going to get old. I think it's really going to get old with her feeling, with her name being connected to Beyonce. Like, right now, I think it's flattering, but I don't think it's going to be so flattering in 10 years when she's like in her 30s and she's doing her. By that point, Beyonce is going to be in her 50s. I don't think sis is going to want to be talking about Beyonce like that. Like, every time, I think she's going to, then it's going to turn into her putting this energy into trying to strategically be something different, to strategically separate herself from Beyonce. And I think that it's going to just be because she's going to just want to be herself and want people to judge her for who she is and her craft and her ability, and not because of somebody else. Just like most of us in this world, we're able to walk on. I think your average person isn't living their life walking in the shoes of someone else, trying to live up to the image of someone else. That's not your norm. And Chloe is still a human being. And I think as she's growing and when she's seeing, especially as her sister grows into her own right, I mean, I feel like there's a distinct difference between the two ladies right now. Haley is Haley and Chloe is Chloe. And Haley is going to continue to kind of be unique and do her thing, whereas Chloe is attached to Beyonce. And it's very unfortunate. I don't think anyone should have to live that way. I've heard people say they don't even like the idea of naming like their sons after their father because of like something like that, where you're like living in the shoes of someone, or people have these expectations, like, you know, they feel like it's just unfair. So, you know, it remains to be seen. Like I said, I believe the award show is tonight. So I have no doubt that she's going to do the doggone thing when she performs tonight. I am looking forward to seeing, excuse me, that performance, seeing how she do. I did hear Normani was added to the lineup for performances. Apparently Lorde dropped out. So Normani has jumped into that slot. Then who else do we have? Doja Cat. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good lineup. So I might, you know, come back later and do another video to talk about it. I don't expect Chloe to be wearing very much, as she really didn't in her music video. But I think she will look beautiful, you know, as far as, you know, she always looks beautiful. But I think that, you know, her attire is just going to be giving just as her music video did. So if anyone felt a way about the music video, you know, and what she was giving, well, I feel like it's going to be that, probably to the 10th power. And her, you know, while she's performing, I think, you know, she's going to kill it. She's going to do, you know, and she got the best of the best backing her, Beyonce, Queen Bee. So if she's trying to shoot for the stars and have a career that's anything remote like that, right now, from what I'm seeing, that she's on that path. Whether or not that's a good path or not, listen, I'm not a beehive. You know, Beyonce has a lot of music that I do like. As far as Beyonce and just her being Beyonce, I'm not truly like a fan like that of hers, you know, from a, you know, personal character type standpoint. But, you know, she has some music that I do like. But I just would rather see Chloe just kind of be Chloe and, you know, go her own path and not be connected to Beyonce. That's just my opinion. We all have one. We're all entitled to one. Please drop it in the comments. Let me know what your opinion is. Like, do you like the connection? Would you rather, you know, Chloe not be connected to Beyonce? You know, are you a Beyonce fan? Do you follow her? Do you support her? Like I said, I did get the chance to see Beyonce perform with Jay-Z on the Run tour. I'm thinking it was probably the first one. Thinking back to how long it was, it probably was like the first one. She's an awesome performer. She did great. Do I ever have to see her again? No. But I mean, I will say it was a great show. She gave a great show. So it's just where I'm at in my life. You know, that's just, I'm not really checking for Beyonce like that. But like I said, like, I love Brown Skin Girl, that song. I can listen to that over and over again. So like I said, she does have things that I do like. I'm just not per se Beyonce herself, like this strong, like supporter of Beyonce, but she has some songs that I do like. Brown Skin Girl, it's probably one of my favorite songs by her, along with Halo. So we got to see, you know, I wish Chloe Bailey the best, the very best of luck. And I hope that her career is all that she wants of it. I'm looking at this article now. You know, Chloe talked about her journey of self-love and how she feels most confident when she is dancing. She's quoted as saying, When I dance, that's when I get to tap into the sexier side of myself. And that's where I find my confidence, she went on to say. Don't change who you are to make society feel comfortable. I'm telling myself that's not what I'm going to do. Listen, I'm all about, pep talk. You tell yourself, you speak confidence within yourself because it has to come from within. But I am also all about doing what feels good to you versus following along the path of what someone deems to be the way you should go in order to be successful. And if that doesn't feel good, because I truly believe that we have a lot of people in this world, in particular in the celebrity world in Hollywood, that compromise themselves for those positions. It's talked about, it's a thing, people do things, to get places. And then years later, sometimes, they'll speak on it and talk about regrets of the things that they did to get to a certain place. They'll talk about whether they felt it was worth it or not worth it. And Chloe's so young, and I just really don't want it to be her story where she found herself compromising herself, going against her moral compass just for the sake of fame. Like, that's a whole thing. People will do almost any and everything just for fame to get their name out there. And just think about just with Beyonce and her name being so huge, how many people are in this world that would sell their soul just to be connected to her, just to be in the same room as her. And here it is, we have Chloe Bailey that's connected to her, in the same room with her. I can't help but to wonder what went into that, what types of things or compromises sis have already had, how she could have possibly compromised herself thus far just to have her name in the same sentence as of Jay-Z or Beyonce. And I feel like it's a fair question to ask, just given off of just looking at the music video. Like, that part, just look at the music video, the imagery, the symbolism, all of that. It's just the darkness, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't have a good feeling when I first saw the video. I did go back and watch it a second time to pay attention to, more things about the video, the song, the theme, the filming. Of course, it was like perfection. Like, the video itself, as far as like the quality of it, how they did it, it was to perfection. What I just kind of felt uneasy about more so is just the imagery of it, how the looks that she had, and then it being, the Medusa thing, all of that, like, that all didn't sit well with me. And with her being such a young lady, an impressionable lady, I didn't feel good. Hey, Sunny Side Up. You say the Black community doesn't support Black female musicians unless they are hypersexualized. She and her sister barely got attention before. I can believe it. You also said, and as soon as she started dancing around in her underwear on Instagram, she blew up and everyone loved her. It's the sad reality. And, it just goes back to, as I say, what's more important, fame and compromising yourself over what you stand for. I know Chloe, in the interview I was listening to at the MTV, let me try to find it. She talked about she has a movie. I think she's about to be in a movie soon. Let me try to find that, because I didn't have that article with the MTV interview. But yeah, she has a movie coming out, and it's just unfortunate that that's how it excuse me, that's how it goes, where you gotta, show more skin and sell sex in order for somebody to want to even look your way, or, click on your video or show you any support. Let me share my screen. This is an interview I watched. I'm not going to play the interview, but I want to show you, what I was looking at, where she talked about, some things that she got coming up. So, but listen, I mean, Halle didn't do that, and she ended up getting the movie for, Little Mermaid. But I mean, it's just unfortunate that's kind of how you get your popularity. For a while, it's been that way. So it's not even like a today thing. It's been that way for a minute. It says, Chloe says her Have Mercy video is all about ass, but in an artistic way. What does that mean? Like, I promise you, when I first watched that video, I wasn't focused on the artistry in anything like that of her video. So to me, her doing a provocative video and doing that, to me, that's just a justification or an excuse of doing it. Because like I said, my first Megan Thee Stallion was just running all through my head. Like, and, Megan got some things that I like, but we have more than enough artists out there that sell sex and do what Megan Thee Stallion does. And I just didn't feel like, or don't feel like, we are in need of more. So this is like the interview that she did. And see some of the things she said. Here's a quote. I wanted to make it all about ass, but in an artistic way. She says, I think it's so cool how women have this incredible power. They can leave men in a trance with their bodies and their spirits and the way they carry themselves. Like, I didn't look at her video with her showing her butt and shaking her butt any different than the next chick who was doing that. So artistry like that, I promise that didn't come to mind. If it came to any of your mind, let me know. What else she says? She felt like a different person on the set and through, let me see. What she said, I wanted to make it all about ass, but in an artistic way. She says, I think it's so cool how women have this incredible power. They can leave men in a trance with their bodies and their spirits and the way they carry themselves. She felt like a different person on set, and throughout her interview, the difference between the protagonist of Have Mercy and the gentler Chloe we knew are palatable, or however you say that. That said, she's happy to keep the experience of embodying such a confident and sexual persona in her own personal reserves. She never knows when she might need to tap back into it. So it's back to when I talked about just having like this alter ego, like this other darker side that you tap into, which is what we've seen in the Have Mercy video. Or maybe we've seen in some of her videos on her socials that she's posted, to what we see when she's sitting down doing her interviews. Like, where did this whole ideologist mindset come from? To me, I feel like Beyonce, who I would consider to be her mentor. So she starts, part of her positivity about the shoot comes from the family vibe they established thanks to the director, Evan, her creative lead, Andrew McCassidy, and even a quick cameo from Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles Lawson. I was so confused. Like, why is Tina in this video? And then she just looked very dark, which typically I think she looks dark anyway. But again, like, I didn't think about this video as being like about, I didn't think of the arts when I was watching this video. I really didn't. It was just dark. Like, this some mess. Like, this really, like this, I can't. And I've seen, other commentary talks, people who on YouTube who've done commentary on it, who share the same sentiments where they thought, okay, yes, she looks beautiful, but there's something just dark about this video. So she says, I think it's amazing how Karina gets it because she's a woman, she's a Black woman, and there's some things that I didn't even have to really explain because she knows it by a living life. She says, you get to see the power that we hold within the music video. I felt sexy doing it, but it's also very empowering. So Have Mercy will likely appear on Chloe's forthcoming debut album, the solid roots of which he took hold in 2020. In the interview, I suggest you guys, I'll have these links in my description of my video, but she talked about she made like 100 songs, recorded like 100 songs. So she's kind of been narrowing it down to like maybe like 30 or something, I guess, for the album. But it's a pretty, interesting video. Like I said, I mean, I like Chloe. I'm just not really feeling this direction that I see that she's going at what I feel to be the influence of Beyonce. But that, again, that's my opinion. Sunny Side Up says, I'll never forget how crazy the City Girls looked performing Twerkulator on stage. It just looked very racist to me for some reason. I remember when they performed. But again, it's like I don't have, it's like City Girls, I have zero expectations of them. They maybe have one or two songs that I'm like, oh, okay, I like. But as far as them, like as individuals, I'm not really fans of them. But again, I don't have high expectations of them either. Whereas with Chloe, I do. It's like I have these, I just expect greatness out of her because that's what she gives. So that's what I look for her to continue to give and not go down this path that we see so many of them, of our Black women, have already gone down, as far as with it just being about their bodies, and the talent really isn't really the focal point. And I understand that sex sells, and in order to make it to the levels of which, say, of a Beyonce, like these are the things that they're having to do. But to think about it, back when Beyonce became Beyonce, that wasn't even necessary. Think about that. Beyonce got where she got without having to do that. Beyonce never did anything where she was twerking or it just goes to show the change in times, where what Beyonce did to get to where she is, as far as from her imagery with her music videos and stuff, it was nothing on the level of, let's just say, what we're even seeing what Chloe's giving. I don't feel like Beyonce got to where she got solely on sex. I think it was a combination of her sex appeal, but coupled also with her talent. I don't feel like it was more talked about as far as her looks versus her talent, her abilities, her dancing ability, her singing ability, her acting ability. If anyone, thinks that she's a good actress. But it's like today, in order to make it, the focal point is like on the person's body. And I think what's helped with why Chloe says that she feels more comfortable with her body is because we live in this culture to where it's about having those curves and shaking what your mama gave you, and that thickness, them thighs, the bust, like, to where it's just like, wow, I have those things. So let me just put attention on them like the other people do. So what I looked at as being a negative, let me turn it into a positive, because it looks like people who have these things, they're just showing themselves in a sexual way to put the attention on them. To me, I feel like her whole mindset changed when it came to her body, by her thinking of herself more of as a sexual object. And that's the disheartening part, versus about, self-love, bodies come in different shapes, forms, I'm beautiful. To me, I feel like she started to accept herself when she started to show herself in a more sexual way, because it was brought to her attention that, okay, people who look like me are sexualized more versus, say, people who look small like my sister. People who look small like my sister are more commercialized, maybe get the acting roles or the modeling roles, but people who look like me get further when it comes to, like, say, if they when they want to be solo artists and they want to dance and and be considered sexy, people who have bodies like mine that's natural, or people are going to pay to have bodies that look like mine. They're paying to have bigger butts, bigger thighs, bigger lips. So to me, I feel like her acceptance of her body came from her sexualizing her body. And I think that came from someone putting that in her head. I don't think she came up with that on her own. I don't. And it's unfortunate because I truly feel as she grows, she's not going to want people to associate her with sex. But will it be too late to turn it around once you put that image out there? Is it possible for Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion to suddenly turn their image around to where they're not looked at as sexual beings and treated as such a way, or versus being looked at as like a class act? Like I like to say Sierra. Sierra has been, she dances. She's been sensual for the most part, since she's came on the scene. Definitely, and as an adult woman. But the way she's done it, to me, I still feel like it's been in a balance of being in a classier type of way, to where it's been limitations on what she's shown. Just like back in the day when Aaliyah was out, it was in a way to where she was sexy, but not over sexualized, where she still kept things to the imagination. I have no memory of ever seeing Aaliyah's butt cheeks. You've seen a lot of her her stomach, cleavage. That's it. The same with Sierra. She has long legs. You'll see maybe a low cut top, but I can't recall seeing Sierra's butt, like her cheeks hanging out. Like it's just the way she went about doing it. But at the same time, Sierra's career also didn't go to the levels of some of the people who have shown more, such as who might we compare? Sierra's a singer, so I'm trying to think of a singer who's just, I guess, Chloe. To me, Chloe is showing more than what Sierra ever did. So if we're going off of that, it's projected to where Chloe's probably going to have a bigger career as an artist going down this path than, say, like Sierra music. I like Sierra music, but I feel like Sierra music doesn't really sell much, possibly because she still hasn't compromised herself to push herself to kind of be over sexualized. She still has some type of limits. So because of that, since she's not, twerking it out like in her music, we recently seen a video where she was kind of doing it like at an event, with Megan Thee Stallion or whatever. But as far as in her music, in her artistry, Sierra's dance, it's more like a choreograph. It's not like your twerking thought culture type vibe type strip club. Like that's not what she gives. And as I think about all of this, I wonder if that's why her career never really took off like that, because of that. And it's very sad. But I feel like regardless, she's been able to break off and have brands and do other things to garner success. And a lot of those, maybe those other deals that she's gotten, I think she might have done some stuff with CoverGirl, but those things that she's gotten has been contributed to because she didn't have that type of image out there. So that's another thing Chloe will have to keep in mind as to, okay, wanting to be connected to other brands down the line and those brands taking into an account things that she's been connected to thus far. Like, we got to think that, we got to think forward thinking, not just kind of in the present, because right now in the present, I feel like it's about, okay, doing whatever it's going to take to get my music played, to get me on that stage to perform, and not so much of the image that we're creating. If that makes sense, because that image, that it's not going to go anywhere. That's there. The internet's forever. So, but yeah, that's what I want to come on here and talk about. I'm going to all these sites that I visit to learn about Chloe, who she is, where sis came from, what she's trying to do. I'm going to share. I'm going to drop it in description. I do like her. I wish her nothing but the best. Please share your comments. Let me know your thoughts, what you think about all of this. Do you feel like, that she's going to go on to have the success of Beyonce? Do you feel like, her being connected to Beyonce may one day hurt her, or do you feel like, hey, continue to ride that wave, always be connected to Beyonce because you're going to go places? Let me know what you think. I did a lot of talking about, what I think, and this is how I feel, but I'd like to know how you feel. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. Drop in the comments if there's anything you'd like for me to discuss. Also, hitting the likes, it helps with the algorithm with getting the video out there. But I do appreciate any of you who did join in to catch the live. And also those of you who do happen to check out this video on the playback. So until the next video, peace.